I hate recycling. What's the point of recycling when half of the bottles go into the trash? I decided I needed to get to the bottom of this. I called up my local recycling center and asked them how exactly they decide what's recyclable and what's trash.
The drivers go around their route, they pick up all of the recycling, and then it goes to the single stream plant. The truck dumps all of the material onto this conveyor belt, and then it goes through this long process of sorting the residue belt. It consists of things that don't belong, plastics, things that are just too weird of a shape, but plastic bags are the biggest offender to the single stream plant, and 65% of our garbage is burned at the incineration plant. It's safe to assume that that's where the residue from Re-Community ends up.
Wait, the recycling place has a trash bin? Not all plastics are recyclable?
I just want to say one word to you.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Plastics.
Since the 1950s, America has been hooked on plastic.
Now, the dictionary tells us that a plastic is any substance which is capable of being molded.
The women folk washing dishes that bounce when they drop to the floor. The floor.
Can you save the brownies?
When women who use cardboard applicators tried Playtex plastic applicator, they said,
Oh, hey. Ah.
Plastics.
Exactly how do you mean?
Plastics are everywhere. Look around your house. Almost everything's plastic. In my house, I've got lots of old stuff that's plastic, but most of it I throw out in a couple days. If it's not recyclable, where does it go?
Are there impacts from plastics in the ocean? Yes. I never take plastic bags away from anywhere. These have lifetimes which put them out in the ocean for effectively forever when it comes to our conception of time. We're talking many, many generations, human generations, floating around, causing damage. All you need to do is Google plastic and turtle or plastic and seal, and you'll find images of these animals that have been growing around plastic that they've become entangled in. Or whales entangled in floating, what are called ghost nets. Birds, for example, mistake plastic for food and eat it, and what happens is their guts become obstructed, so at the very least they slowly starve to death. But there's also a problem with sharp edges on plastic, lacerating the internal, the gut membrane, and causing death as well that way. Plastics are so dispersed, so diffuse in the ocean. Collecting them to remove them, I think, is not practical. It would cost too much, it would take too much energy, plain and simple, to do this. What we need to do is stop the flow of plastics from land into the ocean. 50% of all the oxygen that you're breathing right now comes from photosynthesis by some plant in the ocean. So we definitely want to protect it. Individual actions do make a difference, and that sooner or later what we do now is going to come back to bite us in the ass.
Over 3 weeks, I collected all of the plastic I would have otherwise thrown out. I never realized how much trash I make. Picture a collection like this over a month, a year, or a lifetime. I'm surrounded by plastic, and now that I think about it, I don't even know what it is or what it's made of. This long-lasting substance that can be molded into anything? That's just not natural. That little number means a lot. 1. When heated or kept over time, 1 leaches toxins such as antimony and acetaldehyde and several others. 2 leaches carcinogens and estrogen, a hormone disruptor, over time or when heated. 3. PVC is associated with reproductive damage, asthma, birth defects, lung cancer, and liver cancer. 4. Like 2, leaches estrogen and carcinogens, but at a much faster pace. 5. 5 is meant to be heated, but it's not very researched. Some studies suggest that much like the other plastics, 5 leaches many toxic chemicals. 6. Styrofoam is associated with cancer, leukemia, lymphoma, nerve damage, and a long list of other diseases. 7 is the wild card. It could be biodegradable, or it could be BPA, a known carcinogen related to obesity, hormone disruption, nervous system damage, and more. Plastic is literally a toxic chemical, but we eat out of it and touch it and deal with it 24/7. I'm beginning to think there's no way out. What's going to happen to the world if we continue to rely on plastic? Okay, maybe that's a little overdramatic, but I don't feel safe in a world of plastic. There has to be something I can do.
Zero waste is a difficult thing to define. Culturally, we need to get away from single-use products that are just to be used one time and then thrown away. We need to focus more on reuse. The EPA says that 40% of our waste is compostable, and one thing you can do about it is reducing how much food you buy. Okay, this is a compostable utensil. I know that it's compostable because it says Green Wave. Here's an example of a compostable cup. This is secretly compostable because it's just, again, plain paper, not waxed. Getting away from any kind of single-use plastics is another really great thing to do. Bring your own container when you go out to eat. Bring your own coffee cup if you go out for coffee every day. I bring my own bag. I have my own utensils in my bag, which I whip out. I buy in bulk. I bring my own glass jars to the bulk grocery store and I fill up rice there. I don't have a garbage can in my kitchen. It is a little unrealistic, and I'll be the first one to say that. But what I like to say instead is as close to zero waste as possible. You know, when it's hard and it's inconvenient, people will not do it. So we have to make it easier, and we need to make it clearer what to do.
Cool. I can't believe I've never heard of the zero waste lifestyle before. Especially considering what plastic has done to the ocean, how bad it is for our health, and how prevalent it is in our lives. We all need to make this change. And soon, or we might not have a planet to live on anymore.